uh, clearly she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The
or
Merchant of Death.
The Merchant of Death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the report.
I mean, the trade took a little minute to happen, too, on the back end, on my end. Like, I had to get transferred from the penal colony to the men's prison in Moscow.
Stephen A. Smith just lit a fire under the WNBA by hinting at hidden DNA records on Brittney Griner, questioning why the league still lets her play without consequences. Think about that if the rumors have any truth. Why hasn't the league acted? Tonight, we go deep into the controversy, layer by layer. Stephen A. Smith has built a career on bold takes, but when he hinted at undisclosed documents tied to Brittney Griner, it didn't feel like his usual theatrics, it felt heavier. He spoke with that sharp edge he's known for, pausing just long enough to make people wonder if he knew more than he was saying. He questioned why Griner, despite years of aggressive incidents on the floor, has never faced league-shaking consequences. Fans and analysts immediately picked up on it. Was Stephen A. just hyping up a segment, or was there substance behind the suggestion? Think about it. This is a guy with deep contacts in every level of basketball. When he names names, it usually matters. So, what was he pointing toward? If there really are whispers of documents from her time in Russia, why is the WNBA quiet? Why haven't they even acknowledged the smoke? That silence is what Stephen A. emphasized, and silence in sports often carries more weight than any official press release. To understand why this comment exploded, you've got to break down Griner's dominance. She's not just tall at 6'9" with a wingspan that erases passing lanes. She changes the geometry of the court. Since her rookie season, she's been a defensive anchor, leading the league in blocks multiple times and averaging well into double digits in points. She has a championship ring and is regularly in the All-Star conversation. Her presence forces opponents to adjust everything, from driving lanes to offensive sets. But here's where it gets complicated. Fans don't question her skill, they question the edge. Is her strength simply a gift, or does it feel like something that makes the playing field uneven? Stephen A.'s DNA remark hit like lightning because it tapped directly into that debate.
You would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing.
People already see her as a physical outlier in the league. Add speculation about tests or records, and suddenly every blocked shot and hard foul looks like part of a bigger story. It's not just dominance anymore, it's dominance under suspicion. Griner's imprisonment in Russia is still one of the most dramatic chapters in sports history. Arrested over cannabis possession, she was held for months, and the U.S. eventually negotiated her release in exchange for Victor Bout, an arms dealer nicknamed the Merchant of Death. The swap shocked global audiences. On paper, it looked lopsided, a basketball star for a man convicted of trafficking weapons. That deal alone raised eyebrows about why Griner was so important to U.S. negotiators. Theories started circulating right then, and Stephen A.'s recent comments poured gasoline on those embers. Think about it: if Russia ran medical tests on her, if data was gathered, could those results have played into the negotiations? We can't know for sure, but the speculation sticks. And the moment she returned to U.S. soil, every move she made on the court felt magnified by that international backdrop. Every foul, every celebration, every emotional outburst carried more weight, as if the world wasn't just watching her play basketball. They were watching her live out a headline. Her return to the WNBA was framed as a story of resilience. Teammates spoke about her leadership, coaches praised her strength. But the real story wasn't just her comeback, it was how she looked on the floor. Right away, fans noticed she was as physical as ever, maybe even more intense. Hard screens, elbows in the paint, fiery confrontations with referees, it all became part of the package. Stat sheets confirmed what people were seeing. Her foul rate per game sits among the higher marks for centers, and highlight reels often include as many clashes as they do clean finishes. That's what Stephen A. latched onto. He wasn't talking about her jumper or her free throws. He was asking the uncomfortable question: if she's consistently involved in controversial moments, why doesn't the league step in? Fans don't just want show-stopping plays, they want balance. And every time the WNBA stays quiet, those whispers get louder.
Trade took a little minute to happen too on the back end, on my end. Like I had to get transferred from the penal colony to the men's prison in Moscow, and I got checked into there. I knew I was getting traded, but the way they were treating me and their one little last play to terrorize me or mess with me, because when they were checking me in, they had me stripped down butt naked in front of a room of like probably about 7-8 men. And they had the Polaroid, and they got me spinning in a circle while they like taking photos, right, of my tattoos, because my tattoos are, whatever they are.
Was it just the tattoos?
Then came Caitlin Clark. The most hyped rookie in decades entered the league with record-breaking college numbers, a game built on range, vision, and composure. Clark instantly became the face of a new generation, pulling sellout crowds wherever she went. That spotlight put her on a collision course with Griner. When the two shared the floor, the contrast was electric. Clark plays finesse and thrives on spacing, while Griner brings brute force and paint dominance. It was old guard versus new blood. And the moments when Clark absorbed contact from Griner only deepened the debate. Clark leads the league in free throws drawn, but when the fouls come from a player like Griner, it looks less like basketball contact and more like a test of survival. Stephen A. saw the headlines before they were written. His comments hit at the exact moment Clark was exploding, turning a rivalry into a cultural flashpoint. The league's past and future were colliding, and Griner was at the center of it. This raises the question, why hasn't the WNBA taken action? Other leagues regularly issue suspensions, fines, or conduct reviews when stars cross the line. In Griner's case, the response has been silence. No investigations announced, no statements of concern, just games continuing as if nothing is brewing. That silence doesn't just protect Griner, it endangers the league's credibility. Fans start to wonder if star power trumps fairness. Consider her value to the WNBA. She's a veteran, a recognizable global figure, and a symbol of resilience after the Russia ordeal. Taking her off the court would dent the league's marketing machine. Beyond that, sponsors and media partners see her as a face that keeps attention on the league, and losing that spotlight could ripple into revenue and visibility. Yet the longer the silence stretches, the more it looks like favoritism. Stephen A. zeroed in on that gap, and fans have noticed too. They can feel the double standard, and nothing fuels suspicion like a lack of answers, especially when accountability seems to apply to everyone except the league's biggest star. The longer this continues, the more pressure builds, and the tougher it will be for the WNBA to address it without looking reactive rather than proactive.
Clearly, she's not remembering who they let out to get her back.
The
or
Merchant
American
of
Soul.
Death.
The Merchant of Death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the reports. That's who they let out for her. You would think that you would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing.
The politics of this situation can't be ignored. Griner's story is bigger than basketball. She's been used as a symbol of international diplomacy, of social justice, and of league identity. That gives her power few athletes ever wield. And when a player has that much cultural weight, organizations tread lightly. The WNBA knows removing or even heavily disciplining her could spark backlash that overshadows the sport itself. That's why whispers about protection gain traction. Stephen A. wasn't just questioning Griner, he was questioning whether the league is strong enough to police its own stars. Every game she plays without consequence makes it look like players, not commissioners, are in control. And that kind of narrative can spiral fast. Who truly runs the WNBA, the leadership, or the stars they're afraid to lose? That's the question hanging in the air. And it goes even further, because league credibility with sponsors, broadcasters, and even other players is tied to whether discipline applies equally. If the league bends for one star, what message does it send to the rest of the roster? These are the layers of politics that weigh on every decision, and they make the entire controversy feel much bigger than a simple on-court issue. From the fans' perspective, The core issue is fairness. Imagine grinding as a rookie, trying to carve out your place in the league, only to see a star veteran get away with things that would earn you an instant technical. That breeds resentment. Fans of Caitlin Clark and other rising stars see it too. They watch Griner bark at refs, toss elbows, and come away untouched, while rookies absorb whistles for minor push-offs. That doesn't just frustrate players, it frustrates the people paying for tickets. Dominance is respected when it's earned, but favoritism crosses the line. Stephen A's comments echoed exactly what those fans have been saying under their breath. By questioning the league's silence, he validated their frustration. And once fans start questioning integrity, trust erodes. That's a dangerous place for a league trying to grow. From the fans' perspective, the core issue is fairness. Imagine grinding as a rookie, trying to carve out your place in the league, only to see a star veteran get away with things that would earn you an instant technical. That breeds resentment. Fans of Caitlin Clark and other rising stars see it too. They watch Griner bark at refs, toss elbows, and come away untouched, while rookies absorb whistles for minor push-offs. That doesn't just frustrate players, it frustrates the people paying for tickets. Dominance is respected when it's earned, but favoritism crosses the line. Stephen A's comments echoed exactly what those fans have been saying under their breath. By questioning the league's silence, he validated their frustration. And once fans start questioning integrity, trust erodes. That's a dangerous place for a league trying to grow. The real tragedy here is how much this drama overshadows everything else happening in the WNBA. This is a golden era of talent. Aja Wilson is putting up MVP-caliber numbers. Sabrina Ionescu is redefining what guards can do with her shooting and playmaking. Breanna Stewart continues to dominate every part of the floor. And Caitlin Clark has injected a level of excitement the league hasn't seen in years. Yet despite all this, the conversation keeps circling back to Brittney Griner. Instead of celebrating highlights, analysts debate DNA, aggression, and favoritism. For teammates and fans who just want to focus on the game, it's exhausting. Stephen A knows controversy sells, and by leaning into this angle, he pushed the spotlight even further away from basketball and toward scandal. That's why this moment is so dangerous for the WNBA. It risks losing control of its own narrative. So, what happens now? If Stephen A is right and there are records that the public hasn't seen, the WNBA is sitting on a ticking bomb. Silence won't last forever. At some point, the truth, whatever it is, will come out. Fans will demand transparency, and the league will have to choose between protecting a star or protecting its integrity. Meanwhile, Griner isn't backing down. She continues to play her game, fierce and unapologetic. Every clash in the paint, every foul, every confrontation is under the microscope. Will this become the biggest scandal in league history, or will it fade like another rumor cycle? That's the cliffhanger Stephen A left us with. For now, the WNBA is caught between star power and accountability, walking a thin line that could snap at any moment. So, what do you think? Should the league finally step in, or should Brittney Griner's game be allowed to speak for itself?